Now, lads, the following is a graph of sine theta, or the following is a graph of y equals sine theta. Now let me explain what's happening. Earlier on in the year, you learned that when you have a circle, okay, what happens is, when you go around in a circle, so for example, when you first start off with sine 0, you are starting off here, okay, so this means theta equals 0. And when theta equals 0, you put sine 0 into your calculator and you realise that sine 0 also equals 0. This is the point 0, 0. When the angle equals 0, so does the value of sine theta. So the value of sine theta is the y-axis and the angle itself is the x-axis. Let's move upwards to 30 degrees. 30 degrees has us up here. What's sine 30 degrees, lads? The value for sine 30? Sine 30 is a half. That's this point here. Sine 60 is 0.866. That is up here. Finally, sine 90 is equal to 1. You've now reached your maximum value. The next value up, you might say, could be sine 100 and... I'm going to go for, let's say, sine 105. Can somebody tell me what sine 105 is? Anybody?
0.965.
0.965. So 0.965. Shh. Excuse me. It's on its way down. What's sine 140?
0.642.
0.642. That's that point there. Now, guys, the thing I want you guys to remember is it's symmetrical around both sides. So, for example, sine 30, yeah? 30 is how far away from the maximum peak? It's 60 away, isn't it? I'm not talking about the y value, I'm talking about the x-axis value. It's 60 away. That means that it'll be at the same point 60 further up. So what's 90 plus 60? 150. Remember, we've done this before. Sine 30 is the same value as sine 150. So as you keep drawing this out, now what we can do here is we have a great function on the calculator to do this for us, right? Look at this, okay? Ready? Mode table. F of x is y. Let it equal sine x. Okay? Start your graph off. Make sure it's in degrees. Start your graph off on 0. End your graph at 360. I think a great number to go up in is 15ths. I'll tell you why. Seems to get everything it does when you go up in 15ths. Okay, now look at it. 30 is a half. 60 is 0.86. 90 is 1. 135 is around 0.7. 180 is on 0. See where I'm locating it? 210 is around point minus 0.5. 225 minus 0.7. So guys, are you understanding how you're going to draw this? 270 is minus 1. Yes. 300 is minus 0.866. And finally, 330.5, 360, 0. Now guys, remember what I said. Remember we said that it repeats itself every 360 degrees. Do you remember we said that? Now look at this. 360, it's on its way up. Sorry, on 0, it's on its way up. And then when it's on 360, it's on its way up again. That is what's called the period. It's when it repeats itself. And this takes 360 degrees for the graph of y equals sine theta, or the graph of y equals cos theta. Okay? The other thing I want to tell you is this. Okay? Do you remember ASTC? A, S, T, and C. Now guys, for ASTC, sine is positive from 0 to 90. So from 0 to 90, what we can see here is it's above the x-axis. It's positive. From 90 to 180, it's also positive. because sine is positive in that quadrant. Then from 180 to 270, it's negative, and there's your tan quadrant there. And then finally from 270 to 360, it's only cos is positive, so that means sine is still negative. So do you see the way it works? Now guys, let's do a similar prediction. Let's do a similar graph for cos theta. Okay? Now, what will happen for cos theta? Okay, when we do this. Cos theta, cos 0 is what value? 1. So remember, this meant to be ASTC. Sorry, ASTC. Cos is positive from 0 to 90. It's then negative from, cos is negative from 90 to 180. So in effect, okay, if I was to draw the cos graph over this, here's how it would look. Cos would be here, and then it turns into 90. When you come to cos 90, it's 0. Do you understand? Then, cos 180, however, is 1, or minus 1. So it goes all the way out here. And then, cos 270 is what value, lads? 0. So it curves back up, hits up here, and then finally cos 360, 1. Now guys, do you see that cos and sine are out of phase? What I mean by out of phase is, do you see the way they're not in, see when sine is at its minimum, cos is at its maximum. When sine's at its maximum, cos is at its minimum. There's two things you need to know about these graphs. The first thing is range. Range is your top y value and your bottom y value. The range of this function is -1 and 1. Its period is when it repeats the same direction and the same place. It starts there, and then at 360 it's in the same place in the same direction. The period is 360 degrees. What we're going to do next is we're going to do a question from this book, right? So that's just sine. Now, what I'm going to show you now is graph the function of y equals sine 2x, or 2 sine x. Here's how you do it. Okay? What I'd like you to do is, I'm going to do it in 15s, okay? So what I'm going to do is the following, or not so much 15s as the main values, okay? So look at this, okay? Count up like this. 30, 45, 60, 90, 180, oh sorry, not 180, 120, 135. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm always doing 30, 45, 60, 30, 45, 60. Okay? And then we're going to go for, what is that, 150, 180. Okay? That's only half the graph, lads. Now, the great thing about this is, we can just go back here, and we can go f of x, table, f of x equals 2 sine, oh not sine inverse, just 2 sine x. Okay, then we're going to start at 0, we're going to end at 360, and then what we're also going to do is our step is going to be in 15s, just so we get everything we're looking for. Okay, now look this time, guys. 30 is what value? 1. Okay, will somebody get that up on their one for me, so just so we can take off the answers, it's just easier. Okay, 45 is 1.41. 60,
1.73.
you got it, James, yeah. 1.732, yeah, go again. 90, 2, yeah. Oh sorry, I forgot 0. What's 0? 0 is 0. Okay, sorry, 0, 0. 120.
1.73.
135.
1.41.
Oh, it's symmetrical, isn't it? So that'll be 1 and that one will be 0. You then do the same thing. Repeat procedure for 180 up to 360. Just keep counting along. Do you understand? Now your job is to draw this graph. Now look here. Lucky for me, the back of the book has some pretty nice drawings already done for you. Okay, but you got to draw. In the test you'll be asked to draw these out. So what's going to happen here? I'm just going to make this a bit bigger. Now look what happens here. All right, going to match up my values. Now the effect. What was the effect of the 2, lads? The effect of the 2 compared to our previous graph. What it did was it doubled all the values. It doubled the height. So what happens was it was going like this instead. It's basically making the height much steeper. Do you understand? When the 2 is in front of the sign. It's not in the angle, it's in front. It doubles it, okay? So therefore what's going to happen here is we draw this graph, okay? So what you do is you start off 0, 0 is here. 30 degrees gets you 1. 30 degrees 1. 45 degrees 1.41. 60 degrees 1.73. 90 degrees 2. 120 degrees, stay where you are, 1.73. 135. So guys, is everybody confident that you can draw 1 or 2 of these tonight? Stop where you are.